What are the methods of organic farming? The primary reason why we support and advocate organic farming or organic agriculture is to enforce how to minimize the use of various harmful chemicals that have hazardous effects on crops in the field, while we preserve biodiversity in the natural world. At the same time, we are able to grow healthy and abundant food. Consequently, a lot of people are asking, what are the methods of organic farming? Organic farming is a technique that inherently includes the principal methods such as crop rotation, green manures and compost, biological pest control, and mechanical cultivation. What is crop rotation? Crop rotation is a technique to grow various kinds of crops in the same area according to different seasons in a sequential manner. It is done so that the soil of farms is not used for only one set of nutrients. It helps in reducing soil erosion and increases soil fertility and crop yield. Growing the same crops in the same place for many years in a row gradually depletes the soil of certain nutrients. With rotation, a crop that leaches the soil of one kind of nutrient is followed during the next growing season by a different crop that returns the nutrient to the soil or draws a different ratio of nutrients. Crop rotation mitigates the buildup of pathogens and pests that often occurs when one species is continuously cropped, and can also improve soil structure and fertility by increasing biomass from varied root structures. How about green manures and compost? One of the most underused methods of soil improvement is the use of green manures. Green manures help improve the fertility of the soil. It works by drawing goodness out of the soil and storing it in the plant's cell and root nodules. When the plants are dug back into the soil, they rot down and gradually release these nutrients to the next crop in a more readily available form. Regular use of green manures improves the soil structure, breaking down hard soils and adding organic matter to light soils. Green manures can have other benefits as well. Many of them provide good soil cover, suppressing weed growth and preventing erosion. Others attract beneficial insects to the garden, such as bees and hoverflies, which prey on pests like aphids. Green manure is a term used to describe specific plant or crop varieties that are grown and turned into the soil to improve its overall quality. A green manure crop can be cut and then plowed into the soil, or simply left in the ground for an extended period prior to tilling garden areas. Examples of green manure crops include grass mixtures and legume plants. Green manures are made by incorporating plant materials, either freshly cut weeds or rotation crop debris. Upon decay, green manures enrich the soil with organic matter and nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus. Ample time for the green manure to decompose should be allowed between the incorporation of weeds or crop debris in the soil and the planting of the new crop. Compost, on the other hand, is an organic matter that has been decomposed in a process called composting. This process recycles various organic materials otherwise regarded as waste products and produces a soil conditioner, which is called the compost. Compost is rich in nutrients. It is used, for example, in gardens, landscaping, horticulture, urban agriculture, and organic farming. The compost itself is beneficial for the land in many ways, including a soil conditioner, a fertilizer, addition of vital humus or humic acids, and as a natural pesticide for soil. In ecosystems, compost is useful for erosion control, land and stream reclamation, wetland construction, and as a landfill cover. At the simplest level, the process of composting requires making a heap of wet organic matter, such as leaves, grass, and food scraps, and waiting for the materials to break down into humus after a period of months. However, composting can also take place as a multi-step, closely monitored process with measured inputs of water, air, and carbon, and nitrogen-rich materials. The decomposition process is aided by shredding the plant matter, adding water, and ensuring proper aeration by regularly turning the mixture when open piles or windrows are used. Fungi, earthworms, and other detrivores further break up the material. Bacteria requiring oxygen to function, and fungi manage the chemical processes by converting the inputs into heat, carbon dioxide, and ammonium. Composting is an aerobic method, meaning it requires the presence of air, of decomposing organic solid waste. It can therefore be used to recycle organic material. The process involves decomposition of organic material into a humus-like material known as compost, which is a good fertilizer for plants. Composting requires the following three components: human management, aerobic conditions, and development of internal biological heat. Composting organisms require four equally important ingredients to work effectively. One is carbon. For energy, the microbial oxidation of carbon produces the heat if included at suggested levels. High carbon materials tend to be brown and dry. Second is nitrogen. To grow and reproduce more organisms to oxidize the carbon. High nitrogen materials tend to be green or colorful, such as fruits and vegetables, and wet. Third is oxygen, for oxidizing the carbon, the decomposition process. And fourth is water, which in the right amounts to maintain activity without causing anaerobic conditions. Biological pest control, biocontrol, or biological pest control is a method of suppressing or controlling the population of undesirable insects, other animals, or plants by the introduction, encouragement, or artificial increase of their natural enemies to economically non-important levels. It is an important component of integrated pest management programs. The biological control of pests and weeds relies on predation, parasitism, herbivory, or other natural mechanisms. Therefore, it is the active manipulation of natural phenomena in serving human purpose, working harmoniously with nature. A successful story of biological control of pests refers to the human being's capability to detect natural processes for their use and can be the most harmless, non-polluting, and self-perpetuating control method. Biological control is a component of an integrated pest management strategy. It is defined as the reduction of pest populations by natural enemies and typically involves an active human role. Kept in mind that all insect species are also suppressed by naturally occurring organisms and environmental factors with no human input. This is frequently referred to as a natural control. This guide emphasizes the biological control of insects, but biological control of weeds and plants diseases is also included. Natural enemies of insect pests, also known as biological control agents, include predators, parasitoids, and pathogens. Biological control of weeds includes insects and pathogens. Biological control agents of plant diseases are most often referred to as antagonists. Predators such as lady beetles and lacewings are mainly free-living species that consume a large number of prey during their lifetime. Parasitoids are species whose immature stage developed or within a single insect host, ultimately killing the hosts. Many species of wasps and some flies are parasitoids. Pathogens are disease-causing organisms including bacteria, fungi, and viruses. They kill or debilitate their host and are relatively specific to certain insect groups. Each of these natural enemy groups is discussed in a much greater detail on the behavior and cycles of life of natural enemies, which can be relatively simple or extraordinarily complex, and not all natural enemies of insects are beneficial to crop production. For example, hyperparasitoids are parasitoids of other parasitoids. In potatoes grown in Maine, parasitoids of aphids were identified, yet these were attacked by 18 additional species of hyperparasitoids. A high reproductive rate is important so that populations of the natural enemy can rapidly increase when hosts are available. The natural enemy must be effective at searching for its host, and it should be searching for only one or a few host species. Spiders, for example, feed on many different hosts including other natural enemies. It is also very important that the natural enemy occur at the same time as its hosts. For example, if the natural enemy is an egg parasitoid, it must be present when host eggs are available. No natural enemy has all these attributes, but those with several characteristics will be more important in helping maintain pests population. Meanwhile, the mechanical cultivation. When managing weeds in organic systems, producers use many of the same technique used in conventional systems, but they rely much more on non-chemical control strategies. The primary weed control strategies for organic systems are cultural and mechanical, focusing on prevention, crop rotation, crop completion, and cultivation. To plan an effective weed management program in organic systems, one should consider historical pest problem, soil management, crop rotation, machinery, markets, weather, and time and labor. Adjusting weed control strategies based on these factors and observing and avoiding potential threats will help a farmer stay ahead of weeds problem. Mechanical weed control is critical for managing weeds in an organic system. In organic row crops such as corn or soybeans, mechanical cultivation is generally necessary for adequate weed control. Mechanical weed control includes the use of pre-plant tillage such as plowing, disking, and field cultivating. These types of primary and secondary tillage can help reduce the rate and spread of certain perennial weeds and can also kill emerged weed seedlings and buy weed seeds below the germination zone. Most organic corn and soybean producers prepare conventionally tilled seedbed before planting their spring crop. Cultivation should generally begin a few days after planting. To control very small weed seedlings that are just beneath the soil surface or barely emerge, implements such as a rotary hoe, chain link harrow, or tine weeder are dragged over the field. These implements will displace small seedlings with and expose them to the drying effects of the wind and sun. Crop rows planted 30 inches more apart allow for row cultivation. Mowing may also play a critical role in managing weeds in forage cropped or non-cropped areas. Repeated mowing reduces weed competitive ability, depletes carbohydrate reserves in the roots, and prevents seed production. Some weeds mowed when they are young are readily consumed by livestock. Mowing can kill or suppress annual and biennial weeds. Mowing can also suppress perennials and help restrict their spread. A single mowing will not satisfactorily control most weeds. However, mowing 3 or 4 times per year over several years can greatly reduce and occasionally eliminate certain weeds. So mechanical cultivation is another weed control method which undercuts weeds between crop rows to kill them. A combination flamer and cultivator implement was designed to take advantage of the good qualities of both flaming and cultivation to provide excellent organic weed control. I hope you learned something today. If you like this video, please hit subscribe and click the bell button for more video updates. Keep sharing because power is gained by sharing knowledge, not by hoarding it. God bless and stay safe, everyone.